All right, how's everybody doing today? Hotep, hey, this is Michael Imhotep, founder of the African History Network, host of the African History Network show. I'm a talk show host, researcher, lecturer, and writer. It is Tuesday, April 2nd, 2019. Tuesday, April 2nd, 2019. We're live. Hope everybody's doing well. So I'm back from the 18th annual Baltimore Natural Hair Care Expo. And Sunday evening, when I was preparing to leave Baltimore to come back from Detroit, I got the news that rapper, entrepreneur, real estate owner Nipsey Hussle was shot and killed in front of his Marathon clothing store in Crenshaw area there in South Los Angeles. Okay, so I was posting articles about this Sunday night, March 31st, 2019, and there was a huge reaction from this on social media, right? So I wanted to talk some about Nipsey Hussle from an entrepreneurship perspective, from a business owner perspective, and deal with his entrepreneurship prowess, deal with how he was empowering his community through real estate ownership, owning businesses, getting kids getting especially African American youth into the STEM field, science, technology, engineering, and math. You've heard me talk about the STEM fields in the past, and there are right now about 4 million jobs tied to available in the STEM fields right now. Approximately 4 million jobs available in the STEM fields. Okay, so how's everybody doing? Share this broadcast on your Facebook page. Invite your friends to tune in also. And I'm going to share this right now on my personal page. And so we'll talk about real estate. We'll talk about economic empowerment in the STEM fields and what Nipsey Hussle was really into. Okay. And then we'll also let you know how African American business owners, how you can advertise with the African History Network as well. So African American business owners, post the name of your business here on the thread of the broadcast. And we'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network on the podcast of our radio shows. Email us at customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com, customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com for more information. All right, so I already knew about Nipsey Hussle before he was murdered. He was killed. Okay, he was shot and killed, and we know police have one person in custody. We'll get more details as more information comes out. But I saw a news story from about 2 or 3 months ago. It was a local news, I think it was a Fox News affiliate there in Los Angeles, and they did a story about him purchasing the strip mall that his Marathon clothing store is in, and they talked about him investing in the Vector 90 incubator dealing with STEM fields and things like this, and they talked about what he was doing for the community. Okay. And, you know, things like this are extremely important. Oftentimes, hip-hop artists, rappers, oftentimes get all put into one category. They're all bad. They talk about drugs, etc. But oftentimes you have hip-hop artists. Rick Ross is one of them. Rick Ross owns a lot of businesses. He owns fast food franchises, things like this. And he employs a lot of people, especially African Americans. Now, I may disagree with some of his lyrics, but there are positive things that Rick Ross does as well. The hip-hop artist, Rick Ross. Same thing with Nipsey Hussle. So there are a number of different articles I've been sharing on our Facebook fan page, the African History Network, as well as my personal page, Michael Imhotep. TheGrio.com was the first article I saw about him being killed. Then also I've been looking at a number of different articles. NBCnews.com has a good one. Washington Post has an obituary on him. Nipsey Hussle's Grammy-nominated rapper. Nipsey Hussle, Grammy-nominated rapper who sought to revive South LA, dies at 33. That's from April 1st, 2019. It's not an April Fool's joke. So I'm going to share some of these articles with you. We'll post a link to them on the thread of our broadcast also. How's everybody doing? Jennifer, Crystal, Ray, Shirley, everybody share this broadcast on your Facebook page. Invite your friends to tune in also, okay? So if we look at this fantastic article from NBC Black, NBC has different platforms, Latino, Asian American. There's also NBC Black at NBCnews.com. Nipsey Hussle's commitment was to his LA neighborhood where he had big plans. Nipsey Hussle's commitment was to his LA neighborhood where he had big plans. Now, we're going to get into some of his background also, because his father was Eritrean, and Eritrea is in East Africa, is bordered by Ethiopia and Sudan. Okay, and in 2004, he went to Eritrea for the first time to see his father's side of the family. He met all these relatives that he had never met before, his grandmother, cousins, aunts, and I saw an interview from March of 2018 that 97.9 did with him. It was about a 35-minute interview, and I went and watched the entire interview. It's on YouTube, and it's from the Vida Loca hip hop show on 97.9, and he talked about some of this history. Okay, so check that out. Nipsey Hussle talks about what his real name, Ermaeus Asdom, means. The G is silent. It's spelled A-S-G-H-E-D-O-M, but the G is silent. Okay, so one of the things I had to research was how to correctly pronounce his name. Okay, because it's a Eritrean name or Ethiopian name. All right, so let's jump into this. How's everybody doing? Okay, so the article from NBC News, Nipsey Hussle's commitment was to his LA neighborhood where he had big plans, written by Eric E. Evans, April 2nd, 2019, talks about Nipsey Hussle back in 2000, Hussle back in 2006, all right? And let me get the light back up. So he was, and it says this may have been his first on-camera interview back in 2006 at Russell Simmons' Get Your Money Right Summit, okay? And Nipsey Hussle back then spoke plainly about leaving behind the material things synonymous with hip-hop lifestyle, the diamonds, the flashy cars, to secure, and he was moving away from that to secure a financial future for his family and people in his community. All right. Now, even though in some of his videos, you know, he may wear the chains and medallions and the watches, he was really about investing in his community, owning real estate, owning businesses, letting that create a legacy for his future, for his son and his daughter. We know he's engaged to actress Lauren London as well. So, you know, our condolences go out to her, his children, her family, etc. But if we look at him even going back to 2006, he was focused on entrepreneurship, creating a legacy, not focused on the materialism. He said, quote, so he was interviewed by hip-hop journalist Davey D, okay, back in 2006 at Russell Simmons' Get Your Money Right Summit. And Davey D asked him, how come you're not blinging and having all kind of crazy diamonds and all that, okay? And he said, I guess you were here to get your money right. So Nipsey Hussle responded, I'd rather invest in some real estate. I'd rather invest in some real estate. Davey D responded, so you trying to get land? He said, exactly, homie. A real asset to take care of my people. Okay, so this is his brother back in 2006 showing this maturity and this wisdom. All right, so we know he was 33 years old. His real name, Ermaeus Asdom. Okay, it's spelled A-S-G-H-E-D-O-M. We'll put it here in the thread of the broadcast, but the G is silent. Okay, and he said in the interview that he did with 97.9, the Vida Loca show, he said his name is Ethiopian and means God will rise. God will rise. Now we know, if you follow our fan page, we posted an article last year about how Ethiopia and Eritrea were making amends. There was a 20-year long military fight between Ethiopia and Eritrea. Eritrea gained its independence in 1991 from Ethiopia. There's a long history behind that. Go to face2faceafrica.com, face2faceafrica.com, the number 2. And they have articles there dealing with that. We'll post some of the articles here. One of them is Ethiopian leader makes his gauge. This is from July 8th, 2018. And it's about Ethiopian Prime Minister Ahmed visiting Eritrea for the first time in 20 years. Okay, so check that out, face2faceafrica.com. All right, so now in the interview at 97.9, he said that his name Ermias is spelled E-R-M-I-A. All right, we're back. I don't know what happened. Okay, we're back. How's everybody doing? Okay, so in the interview with 97.9, the Vida Loca show, he said that his name Ermias, spelled E-R-M-I-A-S, means God will rise. God will rise. But it could mean sent by God. There's an article from heavy.com, and we'll give you the name of that article. You can check this out also. There's an article from heavy.com called What is Nipsey Hussle's Real Name, Background, and Ethnicity? And it talks about his name could mean sent by God. Okay. In the interview, he talked about how he found out what his name meant, because he didn't know what his name meant till some years ago. And he said he was driving, he had a female friend in the car, and he told her his real name, and he said, and she said, what does his name mean? He said he didn't know, it's just an African name. So she looked it up online and said his name means God will rise. Okay. All right. So so you can check that out also at heavy.com. They have a really good article on him as well. All right. So so the 33-year-old hip hop artist, real name Ermias Asdam, the G is silent. We know he was shot and killed Sunday in front of his apparel store, Marathon Clothing. Okay. And we see tributes and condolences coming in from those in the hip hop world, coming in from all across the country. All right. Now, when we look at his hip hop career, he was nominated for a Grammy in for the 2018 release of his first album, his first full album with a major record label, okay, Victory Lap. And it was nominated for Best Rap Album. We know Cardi B won. We're not going to get into that. But prior to that, he released 8 mixtapes, okay? And this is really a lesson when it comes to guerrilla marketing, when it comes to being able to have a track record before you get a major record deal. Okay, now a few years ago, he had a record deal with Epic Records, but it fell through. But this brother was consistently putting out mixtapes, okay, going back to 2005. Okay, his debut mixtape, Slauson Boy, and his 8th mixtape came out in 2010, titled Crenshaw. So if we look at the article from NBCnews.com, it talks about how since the beginning of his rap career, he has always represented the Crenshaw district, specifically the intersection of Crenshaw Boulevard, and Slauson. All right. In 2005, his debut mixtape was called Slauson Boy. And he, in the interview on 97.9, he talked about how he had a track record of selling CDs, selling them out of the trunk of his car, pumping them up at clubs in the area, things like this, right? And he talked about how it was a big difference in promoting the mixtapes on your own and then being with a major record label, Atlantic, being with a major record label and having a marketing team and being able to promote your work all across the country. He said, you know, when he went to a club just 3 days after Victory Lap was out, or one of the songs of Victory Lap was out, something like that, he talked about how he saw a huge difference in the crowd. The song had only been out 3 days, and they knew the words to the song, things like this. So, but this is also a lesson for entrepreneurs, whether you are in the music industry or not in the music industry, about being able to brand yourself, using social media to market your product, being, you know, what I call hand-to-hand combat. I taught entrepreneurship for 7 years, and maybe 9 now if I think about it. But I talk about being face-to-face with the customer and doing that hand-to-hand combat, having the marketing, having your product. I just came back from being at an expo doing the 18th annual Baltimore Natural Hair Care Expo. I was a presenter there. I was doing workshops dealing with great black women in history, the mothers of civilization, and the role of black women in the film Black Panther. But I also had a vendor booth there as well. So some of you all saw the videos that I did on Facebook Live from the expo, right? And you're right in front of people. You're talking to customers. Some people listen to my show, follow me on Facebook, etc. Some people had never heard of me, right? So being for African American entrepreneurs especially, being that many of us are not second, third generation entrepreneurs, and we are inheriting a business. Oftentimes we're not. We're creating a business for the first time. Going to expos like that can give you a lot of experience in being able to market your product, talk to people face to face, hone your sales skills. I have a long background in sales. So when I see somebody like this who put out 8 mixtapes from 2005 to 2010, okay, and one of his mixtapes he sold for $100 a piece, all right, and Jay-Z bought a number of them as well. But let's see, 3 years later, he released his mixtape Crenshaw independently by selling 1,000 physical copies for $100 each. He sold out in 24 hours. All right. So this brother is, now he never went to business school. Okay. And I'm not sure about his education past the 10th grade. Okay. He talked about stopping high school in the 10th grade. I don't know if not sure if he got a GED or not. All right. But when there are many brothers who don't get the opportunity to go to college. There are many brothers who don't get the opportunity to go to business school, but they have business acumen, okay? And one of the things he was doing with his, with the Vector 90 incubator dealing with STEM and things like this, is teaching coding, teaching STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, teaching that to our youth to give them options, okay, so they don't have to join a gang like he joined the gang, to give them options so they can actually see opportunity. They can see they can have a career in this type of field or that type of field, or create a business around these skill sets that they're learning, okay? So this is what this brother was investing in the community where he lived. He never moved away from his community. He didn't move to the Hamptons, didn't move to Beverly Hills or what have you. They called him Neighborhood Nip, okay? NIP, Neighborhood Nip, because he lived there. So now those who are not familiar with the comedian and actor Nipsey Hussle, okay, this is where he gets his name from, okay? And everybody probably has seen The Wiz, okay, the African-American version of The Wizard of Oz, starring Diana Ross and Michael Jackson as the Scarecrow, and it was Nipsey Hussle who was the Tin Man. Okay, so if you Google Nipsey Hussle, you'll get to see who Nipsey Hussle got his name from. A lot of people, I mean, you know, a lot of millennials or younger may not know who Nipsey Hussle is. Okay, all right, so. So I just have to say that. All right, how's everybody doing? Okay, let's see who we have. We got Jennifer, we have Antoine, Crystal. All right, everybody share this broadcast on your Facebook page. Invite your friends to tune in also. And then also you can donate to the African History Network, paypal.me/the AHN show, paypal.me/the AHN show. That helps us to keep doing the broadcast, finance the radio show, pay the bills, keep doing the research, etc. Okay, and also you can go to AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, click on the yellow donate button as well. All right, let's continue. Okay, so All right, so he sells 1,000 copies of his 2000. He sells 1,000 copies of his Crenshaw CD for $100. Okay, sells out in 24 hours. All right, and in 2018 he releases his debut studio album on a major record label, Victory Lap, in a strategic deal with Atlantic Records and his own record label, All Money. Okay, and so this is another thing. He starts his own record label also, and he enters into a strategic deal with Atlantic Records. Now, I remember back in the day, back when I was in college, I knew people who wanted to have a record label, well, wanted to get a record deal. I knew, some of my friends in college, they wanted to get a record deal, etc. Majority of us were not focused on owning a record label. The goal was to get a record deal. Now you got people like Chance the Rapper. I think he's still independent. Chance the Rapper is selling millions of CDs, downloads, etc. But last I heard, he was still an independent artist. He had not signed with a major record label. He has commercials for Kit Kat, things like this. And then also you have other artists, whether it's Tyrese Gibson, whether it's Tamia. You have those artists who were on major record labels, Eric Benet, and they are talking about they've gone independent, one. Two, they talk about the benefits of being an independent artist as well. So because of the digital age, because of downloads, because of iTunes, because of different avenues that you can get your product out using the internet, downloads to smartphones, etc., it's totally changed the game. So now, and also the other thing is, because of TV shows like Unsung on TV One, we get to hear how a lot of artists got ripped off by major record labels as well. Okay, you had a New Edition story, so we get to hear these stories of how these artists who we thought had it made, how they got into trouble with the record company, record sales weren't what they were, they were paid royalties in advance, okay, then they get cut from the record label, still owe money, things like this happen, okay, all right. So let's continue. Now, on the microphone, he often talked about his entrepreneurial ambitions. Okay, in Blue Laces 2, one of his songs, Blue Laces 2, he said, $1 billion project, about to crack the cement. So one of our investments had become strategic. Summer Roll 18, man, is such a season. About to make more partners partners look like effing geniuses. Okay, now that $1 billion project likely referred to Destination Crenshaw, which was a 1.3 mile outdoor space dedicated to the arts and culture of Black Los Angeles. The project is a response to the city's decision to put a section of the Los Angeles City County Metro rail line at a ground level along Crenshaw Boulevard. Community members lamented that the construction of that metro line would harm local businesses, according to Curbed LA, news publication there in Los Angeles. Curbed LA. Council member Marquise Harris Dawson told NBC Black that often outsiders come into communities he represents to capitalize off their assets and value, while the community often does not benefit. But Nipsey Hussle stepped in to make sure that that did not happen. Nipsey Hussle stepped in to make sure that that did not happen. He was one of the early supporters of the project. Okay, so Marquise Harris Dawson said what Nipsey did is that he flipped that script. Okay, and Harris Dawson is leading the Destination Crenshaw effort. Marquise Harris Dawson said, quote, he said, we're going to create the content, own the platforms, and be part of the entire chain so that no one is going to capture value of what we create without us participating. that makes a big difference, end quote. Okay, so what he's talking about is ownership. Ownership. And this is really a good lesson. I hope you share this video. We'll put this on our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, Imhotep. I hope you share this video with our youth. Millennials, of course, but we're younger than that. So for those that don't know, millennials are those born between 1980 and 1996. Okay, those are millennials. Everybody young is now a millennial. All right. But share this with our youth, especially our teenagers, because what happens is they see the platinum, they see the gold, they see the diamonds in the hip hop videos, and a lot of them think this stuff is real. Okay, some of that jewelry is rented. A lot of times those cars are rented. Okay, and they think that this is what it's all about. But what Nipsey Hussle is saying, even though in some of his videos he may have the gold and the medallions, what have you, he is talking about ownership. It's ownership of these assets that generates revenue. It's ownership of the real estate. So he talked about how when they first opened the Marathon Clothing Company, he was renting that space out in the strip mall. Okay, then he and a partner actually bought the entire strip mall that other businesses are in. All right, so and when we look at our community, you see very few strip malls owned by African Americans. I mean, if you find a strip down a block and you have 5, 6, 7 African American stores that are owned, stores owned by African Americans, say in a strip mall, you're doing really well. I mean, that's rare. But usually we don't own the strip mall that the stores are in. They're just paying a lease. What happens is this is taking place in Detroit. You have huge gentrification in Detroit, strip malls being bought up, all the downtown, basically all the downtown being bought up. Most of it owned by Dan Gilbert, who owns Quicken Loans and the Cleveland Cavaliers as well. You have the Midtown area being bought up. And what happens is white speculators come in, buy up these strip malls, raise the price of the rent. It forces out the African-American owned businesses that have been there 20, 30 years, paying taxes, etc. And then they bring in all these other white-owned businesses, okay? So you see African-American owned businesses being pushed out because we didn't own the land that the business was on, okay? We own the business, but we didn't own the strip mall or the land the business was on. So what Nipsey Hussle did is he went and bought the strip mall that Marathon Clothing was in, okay? All right, we'll come to some of your comments here in just a minute. African-American business owners, post the name of your business here on the thread of the broadcast as well. We know we let you do that, when we broadcast. And we'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network on the podcast of our radio shows, the African History Network show. We're on 8 different podcast platforms. And each one of our shows gets thousands of listens. Even we have a special April promotion going on going on to the 5th. Email us customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com. Customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com. Okay. All right. Let me back up here because I made some notes I want to make sure that I get to. Forbes.com also had a good article as well from February 2019 about Nipsey Hussle and real estate. Inside Nipsey Hussle's blueprint to become a real estate mogul. Inside Nipsey Hussle's blueprint to become a real estate mogul. That's on February 20th, 2019. Okay, written by Zach Greenberg for Forbes.com. Another good article dealing with his entrepreneurial prowess. All right, now, let me back up a minute here because I jumped ahead of myself. Just give me a second here. Okay, so Idris Sandu is a Ghanaian American engineer. All right, we know that Nipsey Hussle was Eritrean and African American. Okay, his father is Eritrean, his mother's African American. Another famous actress, famous actress is Eritrean as well. That's Tiffany Haddish. Her father is Eritrean. Okay, and at the Oscars last year, she went to the Oscars wearing an Eritrean dress, and we posted articles about that and pictures of her. The sister looked beautiful. Okay, so Nipsey Hussle teamed up with Idris Sandu, who's an engineer. All right, and he enlisted the help of software engineer Idris Sandu to create the app and build the store for Marathon Clothing after a chance meeting at a Starbucks store a couple of years ago. All right. Idris Sandu told NBC Black, he said, quote, "Nipsey is the reason many people know me today. And to hear that his life was taken in front of the very store we built together is truly a full circle moment, which aches for me personally as well as for the culture. Grateful for the light he saw in me years ago. I vow to continue pushing forward the culture with the very platform he gave me." So they had a chance meeting at a Starbucks. And Idris, there was an article I saw about this, talking about how they met. And I'm going to see if I can pull it up. I think it was from, I'm not sure if it's from Forbes or what, because I've read so many articles. But Nipsey Hussle saw that Idris was working on a computer, and he saw the algorithms that was on the screen. So he started asking him about it. They started talking. And 3 weeks later, they were working together, and Idris was developing this app for him, okay, for the Marathon Clothing store. So check that out also. So here you have one brother of Ghanaian descent working with another brother of Eritrean descent. Okay, and both these brothers are here in the U.S. All right, so I mean, here you have brothers of different descent of different African countries working together to help empower African Americans as well. All right, so check out the article from Forbes.com, inside Nipsey Hussle's blueprint to become a real estate mogul. And we'll continue with this article from NBC News Black as well. All right, so in February 2019, Nipsey Hussle and his business partner David Gross bought the entire plaza at that intersection. Okay, this is the plaza where the intersection of Crenshaw and Slauson, where the strip mall where the Marathon Clothing store is. And they bought the entire plaza at that intersection with plans to knock it down and build it back up with a 6-story residential building atop commercial stores. And that was reported by Forbes.com as well, the article from Forbes. And I saw a video from a local news affiliate, I think it was a Fox affiliate there in Los Angeles, back when this deal was made. Okay, and I saw one, but I think there was one a couple months before that I saw about his entrepreneurial skills as well. Now, David Gross is also founder and CEO of Vector 90, VECTOR, Vector 90, a co-working space and STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM incubator for young people to gain training, professional development, and other tools to build their own businesses. Nipsey Hussle invested in Vector 90, put his own money into Vector 90, and has long had an interest in technology, and hope to help bridge the gap between African American and Hispanic children in his community and technology entrepreneurs and CEOs in Silicon Valley. All right. There was a quote from the obituary. So LA Times did a big article on him back in 2018. All right. And we'll pull up the article from the LA Times. With a new STEM center and a revolutionary marketing strategy, Nipsey Hussle is music's biggest disruptor. This is from March 16, 2018, LA Times. There were a number of articles written about this brother last year, okay? Before this tragedy happened, there were a number of articles written about him. We'll post this link right here on the thread of the broadcast, all right? And these are articles we can share with our youth. Now, one thing that I teach parents to do is go to azlyrics.com, azlyrics.com. And at azlyrics.com, you can type in the name of a song. It gives you the lyrics to the song. But definitely do this for Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. Please, parents, do this. Grandparents, aunties, uncles, okay? Because it gives you the name of the, type in the name of the song. It gives you the lyrics to the song, the uncensored lyrics to the song. So you can actually see the programming being fed to our children. Okay, so if you don't understand the lyrics that are being fed to our children and the ideas, right? How can you protect them from that? So we have to do this. And also you could type in the name of an artist. It gives you the names of the songs they have in the database, and you can click on the name and it gives you the lyrics to the songs. It's free. azlyrics.com. All right? It's extremely important that we do this. Okay, so LA Times had a big article from March 16, 2018 with a new STEM center and a revolutionary marketing a revolutionary marketing strategy. Nipsey Hussle is music's biggest disruptor. Okay, and in the article he talked about Silicon Valley. He talked about let me pull up this actual quote here. He said, in our culture, there's a narrative that says, follow the athletes, follow the entertainers. And that's cool, but there should be something that says, follow Elon Musk, follow Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook. He said, I think that with me being influential as an artist and young and coming from the inner city, it makes sense for me to be one of the people that's waving the flag. All right. So this is what this brother was doing. He saw a need. He invested in his community. He invested in African American youth, Hispanic youth, to give them opportunities that he did not have when he was younger. And he got involved. We know he got involved in gang life, rolling 60s neighborhood Crips. And the interview that he did with 97.9 in March of 2018, and it's on YouTube. I'll post a link to the video here. It's called Nipsey Hussle Talks About What His Real Name, Ermaeus Asdom Means, STEM Programs, and More. He talks about how he never left the Rolling 60 Crips. Okay, he said he went in another direction, but he said that, and this is not, I'm not trying to cast aspersions on him, anything like this. This is what he said in the video. He said that basically he was saying it's not something that being in the gang was not something that you quit, but you go in another direction. You don't necessarily do that anymore. You don't gangbang anymore. He talked about he doesn't gangbang, but it's not something that you, the actual gang is not something that you quit. You go in another direction. And he actually talked about how when he chose music, he talked about how he could feel some of the people in the gang looked at him differently. He said they won't tell you something to your face, but they'll look at you differently and say, oh, okay, so you're not down with us anymore or what have you, because you don't want to do this, you want to go in that direction. Or when, you know, you're saying, well, hey, I'm a father now, I have a family, I can't do that anymore. Okay, so in that interview, the interview's about, I think, 35 minutes. He talks about the change that takes place as well, but he also talks about being able to give our youth opportunities that he did not have when he was growing up as well. Okay, let's see here. Jennifer said that's why it was so respected by his, that's why he was so respected by his community. He said some of the Martell says some of these parents are just as bad by listening to that ghetto fab music. Or even those parents need to go read the lyrics, because when you actually read the lyrics to the music, you get an entirely different impression about it than if you just listen to the music. If you actually read the lyrics to the music, okay, that's extremely important. Always have so much information for the black community. Maricela said, okay, thanks, Maricela. All right, let's continue here. Okay, so um, we have the quote from Forbes dealing with that. Oh, I'm sorry, that's from the LA Times. Okay, so in the inner city Nipsey Hussle grew up in was the South Los Angeles of the 1990s, a place where gang culture dominated. Yet he managed to develop a love of music and technology, A deep interest in music led him to seek out computer auctions. And after collecting computer parts, he eventually learned to build a PC from top to bottom. Okay, he said, I grew up in gang culture. We dealt with death, with murder. It was like living in a war zone where people die on these blocks and everybody is a little bit immune to it. I guess they call it post-traumatic stress, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. When you have people that have been at war for such a long time. I think LA suffers from that because it's not normal, yet we embrace it like it is after a while, end quote. Okay, this is what he said in an interview with the LA Times. So ultimately his goal was to combine his music interests with his tech sensibilities, partly due to financial constraints. All right, he said, I had to learn how to use software early because I wanted to record myself. I didn't have a budget to pay engineers, so I had to learn how to use software myself. Just growing up, being an 80s baby that grew up in the 90s, technology was a part of culture. So I was always interested in it. Okay, so he was born August 15th, 1985 in Los Angeles. August 15th, 1985 in Los Angeles. All right. So because he had to learn how to use software on his own, now he's working through the financial constraints, right? So he's learning how to use software, learning how to record himself. He buys parts, builds his own computer. This is the African genius. And this brother is from Africa. I mean, his father is Eritrean, right? So this is the African genius manifesting itself in spite of financial constraints. So because of all of this, this fueled a strong entrepreneurial spirit in Nipsey Hussle, Hermes Asdam, leading today to a top 10 album in Victory Lap, okay, when this article came out. A work that explores Nipsey Hussle's rise and the lesson he's learned as a self-taught, self-funded MC. Along the way, Nipsey Hussle pioneered a number of innovative measures in marketing and self-promotion and caught the attention of some of the biggest names in hip-hop. All right. Now, Hussle's label, All Money In, has a partnership with Atlantic Records. He also owns what he calls a smart store, a smart, quote unquote, smart store for his fashion brand, the Marathon Clothing, at West Slauson Avenue and Crenshaw Boulevard, where visitors can use an app to enhance their experience. Additionally, he is part of an investment syndicate, that their word, not mine, that includes DJ Khaled and the Lakers Luol Deng, leading a bid to acquire the leasehold for Santa Monica's historic Viceroy Hotel. Nipsey Hussle said, quote, I just want to give back in an effective way. I remember being young and really having the best intentions and not being met on my efforts. I remember being young and really having the best intentions and not being met on my efforts. You're like, I'm going to really lock into my goals and my passion and my talents, but you see no industry support. You see no structures or infrastructure built, and you get a little frustrated, end quote. This is what this brother says. So what he was trying to do is invest in his community and give youth opportunities he did not have, and at the same time trying to help keep them out of the gangs, keep them away from violence, keep them away from criminality. Now, the lack of opportunity can make gang culture seem the most viable option, the article from the LA Times goes on to say. Nipsey Hussle said, I remember feeling like number one, what's the point? And number two, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm not even supposed to be ambitious. Maybe I'm not even supposed to be thinking this big and thinking outside the box. Maybe I should just follow suit. That's a dangerous thing. I would like to prevent as many kids from feeling like that as possible, because what follows is self-destructive. What follows is self-destructive. We go back to, I think it was the early 90s, the song Self-Destruction. You're headed for self-destruction, right? And then, so that was the East Coast rappers, Self-Destruction, because of all the violence that was taking place, etc. And let's keep it real. Some of the violence was talked about and glorified by some of the hip-hop music. Some of the hip-hop music was a cautionary tale. When we go back to 1980, 81, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five and the Message, that was a cautionary tale. That didn't make you want to go out and get your car repossessed. Rats in the front room, roaches in the back, junkies in the alley with the baseball bat. I tried to get away, but I couldn't get far because a man with a tow truck repossessed my car. That didn't make you want to go experience junkies in the alley with a baseball bat, okay? But it was a cautionary tale. It was talking about what was going on in the community, but it wasn't glamorizing it, right? So then you had the East Coast rappers, because violence had gotten out, it was crazy in the 90s. Violence at an all-time high, murders, things like this, close to an all-time high, much higher than what it is, today. Okay, and because of all that, you had the East Coast rappers, and then the West Coast rappers came out with a song called "We're All in the Same Game." Okay, we're all in the same game. All right, and let me change memory cards here. How long have we been going? How's everybody doing? Y'all all right? Okay. Stand by this second here. Let me change this memory card. I'm recording this with my camcorder off, my video camera as well. All right, let's start this up. Okay, so you had the East Coast rappers, and they should have this video on YouTube as well. You had the East Coast rappers with the song Self-Destruction. You're headed for self-destruction, talking about preserving the life of our youth, put down the guns, don't kill each other. Then the West Coast rappers, Hammer, 357, Eazy-E. I don't remember if I think NWA was in there. I remember Eazy-E was in there. The West Coast rappers came out with "We're All in the Same Gang," which was along the same lines of the song Self-Destruction. Okay. So what Nipsey was saying is that to follow the crowd means to follow self-destruction. All right. So the idea for Vector 90 was born during a fortuitous encounter with a stranger seated beside him at a LA Lakers game. A conversation fueled, Nipsey Hussle said, by tequila led to an instant connection. All right. And that was with David Gross. Okay. His partner with Vector 90. It turns out Hussle was seated beside real estate developer and South Los Angeles native David Gross. Gross floated the idea of partnering on an upcoming project. And the following day, Nipsey Hussle and a friend drove to Gross to his office. It was there that David Gross presented the concept, then called "Too Big to Fail." All right, check out. This is a fantastic article from LA Times. Now, this article is from March 16, 2018, with a new STEM center and a revolutionary marketing strategy. Nipsey Hussle is music's biggest disruptor. Okay, Nipsey Hussle is music's biggest disruptor. All right, check out that article from the LA Times as well. All right, African American business owners, hey, post the name of your business here on the thread of the broadcast. Also, Email us at customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com, customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com, and we'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network on the podcast of our shows, and you can the podcast of the African History Network show, which we do every Sunday, and we're on 8 different podcast platforms. We're on iTunes, Blog Talk Radio, Castbox, Acast, TuneIn, FM Player. Each episode gets listened to thousands of times. We have listeners all across the country. I've been doing the African History Network show for 9 years. Been doing it for 9 years. March 10th, 2019, we celebrated a 9-year anniversary. So email us at customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com. We have a special promotion where you get you get 1 month for the price of 3. Okay, that's our current promotion we have going on right now. We'll post the information here on the thread of the broadcast. So if you have an e-commerce store, you have a brick and mortar store, you have an upcoming event that you want to promote, you definitely want to advertise with the African History Network. We're going to also post your flyer or information on our Facebook fan page, the African History Network, as well. Okay, let's see here. Jennifer, how you doing, Jennifer? Okay, Willie. All right, just a few people watching. Okay, let's continue. I'm going to continue a little more because I'm going to share some more of this article with you from NBCnews.com. There's a little bit more I haven't gotten to because I made notes here. Make sure I get all this information in. All right, but this was a brilliant brother who really, really needs to be studied. Okay, seriously. So in February 2019, Nipsey Hussle and his business partner David Gross bought the entire plaza at Crenshaw and Slauson, and with plans to knock it down and build it back up with a 6-story residential building atop commercial stores. All right, and Forbes.com talked about that as well. All right, now let me scroll down here. Okay. All right, so Hussle owns several businesses in the area, in the Crenshaw-Slauson area, including a fat burger restaurant, a barbershop, and a seafood market. He had invested in the 59th Street Elementary School, giving shoes to all of the students and renovating its basketball courts and playgrounds. So this brother had a big heart. He was doing a lot for the community, okay? He told the Los Angeles Times in 2018, I just wanted to give back in an effective way. I just wanted to give back in an effective way. I remember being young and really having the best intentions and not being met on my efforts. Okay, he said you're like, I'm going to really lock into my goals and my passion and my talents, but you see no industry support. You see no structures or infrastructure built, and you get a little frustrated. All right. Now, Imani Bill Ampah, A-M-P-A-H, I think it's pronounced Ampah, a longtime resident of the Crenshaw district in South Los Angeles, said she remembered when Nipsey Hussle released one of his earliest singles, Hustle in the House, in 2009. Since then, she had seen the effect that Nipsey had on her community. And once again, they called a neighborhood Nip. All right. She said, quote, he became a neighborhood hero. He was such a positive figure in our community. You see the changes that he made. He worked with elementary schools and helped to bring STEM programs in the community. This is not just someone who just had a business. He wanted to change the community from the root up, end quote. Okay. All right. Now, let's see here. Some of this I already covered, so I don't want to be redundant. All right. Okay, so though he had been associated with the Rolling 60s neighborhood Crips in his youth, Nipsey Hussle was slated to meet with Steve Soboroff, president of the Los Angeles Police Commission, Los Angeles Police Department Chief Michael Moore and entertainment company Rock Nation to discuss ways to stop gang violence. A lot of people heard that this was reported. So he was supposed to meet with them Monday, April 1st, actually. In the last few years, he had participated in anti-gun violence rallies, like the one in 2013 where he met Marquise Harris Dawson. He wanted change, and he wanted it now. Okay? All right. So check out that article from NBCnews.com, their NBC Black platform. Okay? BLK, NBC Black. All right, and then also Washington Post has an obituary on Nipsey Hussle as well, which gives a lot of good information on him also. Nipsey Hussle, Grammy-nominated rapper who sought to revive South LA, dies at 33. We'll post this link here also. And thegrill.com had a really good article as well. Family, Community, Wealth, Hip-Hop, the hip-hop legacy of Nipsey Hussle, from thegrill.com. This is another good article. Also, let's see. Damon said, "Good die young, fakes live forever." Okay, we have Eric Toomer as well. Kenneth, all in the same game. West Coast version. Yeah, I remember that. I remember watching that on the video jukebox. So some of you are old enough to remember the video jukebox. And you could watch the videos for free, but you can also call in and you could pay for them to play a video that you wanted. You could request a video and you would pay to put it on your phone bill, something like that. But you can sit up and watch it for free also, the video jukebox. All right, and then I'm not sure why they got rid of that. I don't remember. Family, Community, Wealth, Hip Hop. Family, Community, Wealth, Hip Hop, the legacy of Nipsey Hussle. Okay. By Biba Adams, April 1st, 2019. Another good article that deals with his background, his entrepreneurial savvy, etc. Okay, so check that out as well. Let me get some more. Okay, try to get some more of your comments in here. All right. Okay, guys. So, hey, we'll be on Sunday. We're on every Sunday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the African History Network show. From the studios at 9, 10 a.m. the Superstation. If you like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network, paypal.me/the AHN show. Paypal.me/the AHN show. Or you can go to our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. And click on the yellow donate button right on the home page. You want to donate $10, $15, $25, $100, whatever it is, that helps support the African History Network, helps support the research, finance the radio show, finance the research, helps us pay the bills, stay on the air. And I will be in Cleveland. So I just got back from the 18th annual Baltimore Natural Hair Care Expo. So I should be in Cleveland Sunday, May 5th for the Cleveland Natural Hair Care Expo. I'll be doing a workshop there as well, Great African Women in History, the Mothers of Civilization, and the role of black women in the film Black Panther. I have a vendor booth there. So those in the Cleveland area, come on out and see me. Visit naturalhaircareexpo.com, naturalhaircareexpo.com for more information. And also, if you like this type of information, you can register for the online courses that I teach. We have them all on demand. We have a 10-course online bundle pack that's all on demand. You can watch from around the world. You can watch right now. It's on sale $40, regularly $130, and it includes Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Under Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Okay. That is a 14-hour, 7-session online course, and I deal with thousands of years of history. I do have a PowerPoint presentation, have video clips. Okay, can you all still hear me? I have a PowerPoint presentation, have video clips, all of that. Okay, and then it also includes Great African Women in History, the Mothers of Civilization, online class I did dealing with the film Black Panther. It's a 10-course online bundle pack. It's on sale right now, $40. It's regularly $130 on sale for a limited time only. It's all on demand. Watch from around the world. You stream it. Watch from around the world. And I teach all those classes. Okay, so you can sign up for that, order that as well. All right. So I think I covered everything. We'll post a link to the article here dealing with Ethiopia and Eritrea. We need to study some more of the history of Ethiopia and Eritrea. Eritrea gained its independence from Ethiopia in 1991 as well. There's a good article from face-to-faceafrica.com. Ethiopian leader makes historic visit to Eritrea, the first in 2 decades. Okay, we'll post that link here also on the thread of the broadcast. All right, so look, hey, we have to get out of here. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering. Let me post this link here. Is this working? What's going on? All right, remember, at the African History Network, well, you can't hear me? Can you all hear me? Testing 1 2 3. I'm not sure. I'm trying to monitor this here on the other computer. Okay. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world. Because right now, it's corrects wrong behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. Voice volume super low. I don't know why the volume is low. I don't know why the voice volume is low. I don't know what happened. You can hear? All right, refresh your screen. Okay. Okay, everybody refresh your screen. All right. Okay, and African American business owners, email us, customer service at africanhistorynetwork.com. Customer service at africanhistorynetwork.com. We'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. We have a special promotion going on this week as well. All right. So remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's corrects wrong behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you've been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. Remember, right now it's corrects wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you next time. Peace.